broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Everybody wants to rule the
It's such like a dark beginning song, but I love it. Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to the Royals finale. Yay. Season 1 is in the books, and we loved it. I'm your host, Christina Kaplan, joined by...
Hey guys, Traci Propst. This is Fern Ronay here.
And Megan Stecher.
And first, let's toast to our first season of the Royals. Cheers! Hopefully you all can see our crowns and our beautiful arrangement we have here. Macaroons, pretzels, purple, of course, because it's the royal color. You know, we just thought we had to celebrate the first season because it was so great. I'm going to take a drink.
Yes. Thank you, Megan, for the Prosecco.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, we might be
Yes, Megan put together this beautiful little presentation here.
Do a lot of red for all the bloodshed and heartbreak.
Yes, exactly. So speaking of bloodshed, really probably the worst possible thing that could have happened. Our poor king did not make it, did not pull through. It was so sad. So let's talk about that first, because that was probably the biggest thing that happened in this episode, because it really changes the path for everyone going into the second season. It was so sad. I really thought when his heart started beating fast that he was going to wake up. Mm-hmm. And when Liam was beating up Cyrus, and I was like, yes, please, please. And then, no, I was so sad. But what did you guys think? Were you shocked that the king actually didn't make it, or did you expect that?
I wasn't shocked, but I was hoping he would. I was hoping he'd wake up and his kids would be like, Uncle Cyrus is horrible. He needs to know all this stuff. And yeah, it was upsetting, but I wasn't completely surprised.
I thought it was going to go either way, 50-50, and I'm really sad that he died, because he was the only beloved, good-hearted character. Yeah. And I watching it the second time today, I really thought maybe Lucius did unplug the machine and nobody noticed. It's kind of one of those cliffhanger things, did he or didn't he unplug the machine and the king died then?
Can I just to branch off of that, why was he by himself in the room?
Yeah.
Right. No one around him, no one watching him. No, he would have had a nurse in there monitoring his vitals. I thought it was really sad that he was alone, and that you're right, anyone could have done anything that got in the room.
And I'm assuming that's an arrangement Cyrus made to take away the medical care.
Because he sent the doctor away, so I'm assuming that meant everything else. He probably moved, put it down to limited people would come and check him maybe twice or 3 times a day or something, silly like that, when the doctor clearly made a point to say, the king's life hangs in the balance. I need to be there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess because Cyrus, I'm assuming when he said you're only afraid to lose your career, I guess he was threatening that he would have him killed. Yeah. But it was kind of
But
I don't know.
It'd be a team of if you're the king and there's 10 people watching you eat lunch.
It'd be illegal for you to be by yourself. I feel like there had to be some sort of law from the people.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. But then again, it is TV, so they obviously don't follow every single, thing that would happen. But yeah, it was sad, because not only did he die alone, but he also he had no chance. No one was there to maybe try to help resuscitate him. It was just it was sad. I was really sad by that, because I wanted him to survive. But now obviously Cyrus becomes the actual king for now, until we find out more. But what?
Tears the ring off his finger.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That was just so
blatant.
Just cold. Probably, I think that was probably the worst thing that Cyrus has done all season. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was just, I mean, I think it also was a little bit of a reaction after what just happened with Liam, like to right in Liam's face, you know, and so I got it from that perspective, like getting him back, but that was just cold-hearted. But we'll have to talk about his mom.
Yes. Yeah, we can talk about that right now, actually. So I think Megan and I talked about it when we were watching the episode that she has Alzheimer's, we're assuming. Something like that, because she clearly thought that King Simon was her husband and that Cyrus was Simon. And I mean, that I said that in the moment that was probably the only time I felt bad for Cyrus this season, but then after you like watch the rest of the episode, it's kind of like, oh, I don't know if I really feel that bad for you, you know, because of that, it's like maybe that has to do with a lot of his issues, is that he never got the approval of his mom, but still it's like, I don't know. He's just so horrible. So what did you guys think of that scene? I mean, it was pretty gut-wrenching.
I think it was maybe it's all for the viewer. Like, we got to see for the first time him have any sort of emotions, and because it was the one and only time he's ever been kind to someone in the entire season. Like, he said to her, after all that horrible stuff she said about him, he kept in the role of playing Simon and said, like, Cyrus really loves you. Yeah. Of course he does. And he kissed her sweetly and left quietly, and I think it was for us to be able to keep watching him, because he is the worst we've ever seen him in this episode too. I mean, walking up to the dead king all bloody and ripping the ring off of his hand like less than a minute after he died was just... Yeah. So I think it was to help us see where he's coming from so that we can continue to watch how diabolical he becomes.
It helps you like round out Cyrus and understand his character a little better, because when she thought that he was speaking to him as Cyrus, his face lit up, like he so wanted her approval still. And like all of the, you know, there's so many stories of parents choosing favorites, and the one who's not the favorite is always in real life. You know, it affects
they have
people.
Issues,
have issues, and it never goes away. And it clearly helped you understand part of his. I mean, no, you know, there are people who have issues and they don't end up doing things as evil as he does, but it helped you understand him a little better, and he's just still seeking her approval.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really sad, like a very touching like moment, and you know that had to have really like hurt Cyrus, and that's kind of, you're right, that's the only time I actually like felt for him in this entire like season. But I also think, oh my gosh, like, so he's been jealous since he was a little kid. Maybe the king should have kind of like kept him a little bit more at a distance or a little closer, like his actions, just because obviously he's never been able to trust him as his brother, and he's always wanted to like be king. I don't know, that's what I thought. I was like, he's obviously had a lot of red flags.
Definitely. I mean, like you said, Fern, it was kind of nice to see that inside look of, okay, maybe this is why Cyrus is the way that he is, or like you said, Tracy, that, oh, he's always been this way. So it's like, it's not like he developed this once Simon became king, but he's always been jealous of his brother. And we kind of got to see like the real, like, you know, vulnerable human side of him for like a split second before he went back to being, you know, just evil again. So it was good. I'm glad that they showed us that little, you know, inside to him. But it was kind of a sad scene because a lot of people, you know, are affected with Alzheimer's, and it's a horrible disease. So it was like really kind of hit home. I'm sure a lot of people in that were watching the show last night kind of felt for him even more. But then he goes and, you know, just makes you hate him again. So it's Cyrus, but, you know, it's like the character you love to hate. He's probably the worst one on there, but without him, the show wouldn't be as good. So
Absolutely.
So let's talk about Ophelia and Liam. So Liam, the last episode, we saw him get picked up in this mystery dark van, and we didn't know where he was going, where they were taking him, whatever. So this episode opens with Liam in the safe room saying to Ophelia, oh, was it all a dream? She's like, no. And then, you know, later on, she reveals that she found him in a park, not in the alley. So I guess the first thing we could talk about is, where do we think that, well, obviously Domino, this mystery Domino, is who picked him up, because on the back of his St. Christopher medal is that Domino etching. So where do you think that he went?
I don't know. I think maybe season 2 it's all about Domino because it's something so secretive that we were given like 2 little hints to or 3 little hints. So I don't know if the Queen's in on it too, or they're just warning her because in her mail was also the symbol of the domino on like a postcard-sized piece of paper, and then the flag at the end with the name Domino and the etching. I mean, I don't know what Domino could be unless it has to do with someone who's either trying to take down the royal family or if she's involved in it and trying to protect the royal family.
Well, last night in the after show that Mark Schwann did with Elizabeth Hurley and William Moseley and Alexandra Park on E! Online, Mark Schwann said, you don't know if the king knows about, or I mean, if the queen is involved in Domino or not, because the way that she reacts to both of those things, it kind of leaves you up in the air as to like, does she know what they are or not?
And Liam too.
Yes, Liam. Same thing, because Liam, knew right away. He's like, oh, this is not my medal, and maybe he just thought, oh, this is weird, it's etched, but maybe he actually knows who Domino is and realizes that it's some bad thing. And now obviously Eleanor knows knows something because of what the hooded man told her and stuff. So I don't know. That I guess we can talk about that now. I was going to leave that to the end, but we got into Domino already. No, he didn't say Domino, but he said you got to ask who they are.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think
alluding to.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I think all of this revolves around Domino, and maybe Domino is like as literal as it could be, that this is the first domino in ending this family. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what do you guys think of, I don't know, it's just like hard to even make predictions about it because we really just don't know much at all.
I'm wondering if, bold prediction, if this is the anti-monarchist movement, maybe if this is their like down dirty street level, their whole plan.
Right.
I don't know.
It's a group.
That's not too bold of a prediction. I could see that being possible.
Yeah.
And she had met with the leader, right? So maybe this was like their symbol to be like, the deed is done. I don't know.
Oh my God,
but what deed? I don't know.
That's a great theory.
Yeah. It is. I don't know. But okay, let's go back to Liam. So he was planning on leaving with Ophelia and said, anywhere in the world, where do you want to go? She says Rio. So they think, or she assumes that they're going to Rio. She lies to her dad, tells her dad she's going to New York. What do you think about that whole situation, about Liam's like spur of the moment thought to just, let's just leave? Like, why do you think he was so adamant in the beginning, at least, to just getting out of there and being done with it?
I think he lost his place. I think he was just kind of at that point like grasping at kind of anything. Like, I no longer have a place here, so let's go, Ophelia. Like, what do you want to do? Like, let's do it. And, a very rash decision. I don't think he was like thinking things through, as we later find out. But, I mean, everyone wants to do that. When something bad happens or you experience, like, I want to go on a trip. Let's go anywhere. Like, it's a very, like, common thing to experience. So I like related with him with that.
Mm-hmm. I thought it symbolized how he woke up thinking like, forget it, probably the king's not my dad, maybe he's not my dad, I'm over it, I'm finally free, I'm not the Prince Regent anymore, let's go, it's the first time I can go somewhere. But I think changing his mind had everything to do with the phone call he got on the plane.
Yeah, what was that about?
For me, that was a big cliffhanger because I have no idea who called or what they said.
Right.
Yes, so as you mentioned, changing his mind, he ended up taking Ophelia to New York. So yeah, I don't even think we can even guess what that phone call was about.
It was Marcus or Gemma, I swear.
But the thing
it had to have been.
Was it?
I feel like it had to have been like Marcus or Gemma, like literally just calling and being like, Gemma being like, listen, you can't do that to her. Or Marcus even, who he's known for 6 years, and just being like, she deserves better. You know that this is what, like, just kind of reasoning. I don't know who else it could have been. Or
her
it
dad?
wasn't the queen. Or it could have been
like,
her dad.
I caught wind of where you guys are going. I'm the head of security. I can learn these things.
Yeah.
I never know.
But I don't know. That's who I thought. The first person I thought of was like Marcus.
Yeah, I could see it being Marcus because Gemma, obviously, we saw later, called that guy or texted that guy. Yeah. So
But he knew. She knew.
Right.
They were in New York.
Right. Well, she knew Or wait.
Right.
Yeah.
So they had to have
So maybe they're... Okay, that's a good point. I didn't put two and two together like that. So maybe Marcus called Liam... And Marcus and Gemma are together because obviously Gemma wants to be with Liam, and Marcus, we find out, wants to be with Ophelia.
Was that a surprise for you guys? I had no idea.
I was shocked.
It came. I think we all could agree that it came out of nowhere because there were never any, like, unless they were really subtle advances or subtle hints that we just didn't pick up on. But I think one of us would have picked up on it.
Maybe the subtle hint was when he knocked out the paparazzi for teasing her about her mother having passed away.
Wow,
That's the only thing I can think of.
But I feel like he would have done that anyway because he's so decent, Marcus.
And he's so close with Liam, and Liam obviously cared about her. That's where I thought of it, but that could be one of them.
True.
It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't really show anything else. Gemma just had to have known. They had to have. She could either tell because she's known Marcus for so long, or like they'd had a conversation.
Yeah, I think it was just like a very secret crush, and maybe Marcus revealed it to Gemma one time, and then Gemma probably was the one who was like, oh, well, we can work together on this and get them separated. So I don't know. I think you guys are right. I think Tracy's right that it could have been, it was probably Marcus on the phone, but we don't know. It could have been anyone. It really could have been, some random person. I don't know. But...
Because he figured it out before, right? As he got the phone call, he realized that symbol was on
right
the back.
before he got the phone,
And then he found the doctor's
and then he found,
phone,
and he's
the
putting
cell
it all
phone,
together.
like the second he got off the phone from the
But he had to have
mystery caller.
told the pilot, like, don't land in Rio, land in New York before he came back.
Yeah, that's what I mean, they must have only barely had taken off, because if they were like halfway to Rio and then tried to reroute to New York, that would have been like a crazy long flight. So I think, and regardless, it seemed like a very short flight, but maybe it was just like TV magic. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll see, I guess, what happens with both of them next season. I think there's a lot to happen with Liam. I mean, at the end, he hugged Eleanor when she found out and said, I'm here now. Kind of like, I think it was William who even said in the after show that it was like he was kind of assuming that patriarch role, like, Dad's gone, but I'm here for you. I'm going to be and Robert's gone, so I'll be the male figure for you. And he said multiple times that he's going to avenge his father, so I think there's a lot to come for Liam, and I'm really excited to see what happens there.
Me too.
I have a question. Do you guys think that Ophelia is like pretty much done with him, and do you think that it's true that Liam does just kind of get sick of girls, like Gemma said?
I think Gemma hopes he gets sick of it. He's a young guy. Yeah, until he meets his wife, he's going to be, going through girls, and it's not going to work out until he meets the one, and I think she's afraid that she's the one. So she wants to believe that, like, he'll get sick of her too, kind of talk Marcus into it so they're on the same page, I think.
Got it.
I agree with you. Yeah, that it's her master plan.
That's not necessarily true. It's just she's willing it into the universe.
Right.
And we're like, what is she doing hanging out at the palace? Like, she belongs there.
Yeah, I know. She's always just kind of there.
She's there with the queen.
I noticed that she was in that lineup of people who were lining the king's door as they were running in when he died. Like, she was there looking, like, shocked.
But she didn't even... What I thought was weird is when Liam was walking out, he was walking out all slow, and she didn't even, like... If she really, truly cared about him, you'd think she'd at least, like... make a face or something, but she just like kind of looked away, like awkwardly, I felt like. I don't know, it was weird, but anyways, so Eleanor, obviously a lot to do with her tonight. So last episode she got approached by the hooded man, Brandon Boone, is that was his name, right? Yeah. And so she goes at the beginning of this episode to get Jasper, the only person that she could trust, I guess. Yeah, and their whole exchange, I really like them together. I want them to work out because I think they're like good for each other. They're kind of like similar but very different. Like they're a good balance for each other.
They have great chemistry.
Yes,
good.
So I don't know. In the beginning, it's funny. When we first saw Jasper, I was like, oh, like he's okay. But now, like I think he's so attractive.
Yeah, totally.
I tweeted at him and I was like, please, Tom Austin, please come in.
I know.
Yeah,
so hot. Maybe for season 2.
Yes, I would love that.
It's really attractive.
Yeah, but so okay, Jasper has kind of become her quote-unquote knight in shining armor, I guess, protecting her from this guy who we find out is not trying to hurt her, just inform her. And, you know, he has all these guns hidden around her room and all this stuff. So, I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? Or what... Actually, let's start with what happened tonight, or last night. What did you think about her getting him out of jail and kind of not really asking him, forcing him to kind of be her protector? Do you think that Jasper was happy about that? Do you think that she really, like, secretly wanted to be back together with him? Or, like, what did you think of their whole exchange in this episode?
I thought it was inevitable that she was going to go get him out of jail and have him be her protector. I think it's smart. I just like them together on the show, no matter what's going on with them, good or bad. They have amazing chemistry as actors, and they're both so good looking, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was inevitable that she was going to go get him again, and I think she likes being a little under his thumb and controlled by him, because it's some control in her life that she's not raging. Somebody puts a little water on the fire, and that's him, and she likes that in her life, especially because her father is on father, not father, whatever's going on with the paternity. I think because that's up in the air, she needs that male figure back.
I think he makes her feel safe, and oddly enough, like, considering where their relationship has gone. And everything you said, 110%, like, I love them together. I just feel like it's a little tainted by the fact that he hooked up with her mother, which, like, kind of it grosses me out a little. If it weren't for that, it would be, like, just perfect.
But we still don't really know his deal.
Yeah.
We still don't really know why he's there, what his motives are. Like, that's the only thing that keeps, like, my guard up from him, from, like, falling in love with them together. Because I'm like, we still don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure we'll find out next season, but that's the only thing. And she doesn't know. She still doesn't know his story. They're obviously attracted to each other. I do think their feelings are real, but I do think he also has an ulterior motive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100% with you, Tracy, that they do like each other, but we still don't know anything about him. So
if he even is Jasper from Vegas, like, we don't even know who he is. Really,
no.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to still find out there, obviously. But what did you said something that I wanted to talk about?
Test?
Yes, the paternity test. Okay, do you guys think that they really are the kids and this is all false? I mean, the doctor said they didn't even test the blood. Do you think that it's true that they maybe are not the king's children, or that they definitely are and this was all, like, falsified to get Cyrus on the throne?
I have no idea now. And how are they going to test it? Both possible fathers are dead.
But didn't Mark Schwann say that Lucius looks a lot like William Moseley for a reason?
that Alistair.
And I think Mark or Elizabeth, one of them said, well, you don't know. Oh, it was Elizabeth Hurley. She said, you don't know that he's dead because he was like a expert marksman. And when Lucius said, oh, and tell Henry the same, and walked out, he could have, like, went and got a gun and shot the two guys, because you heard two gunshots.
That's what I was thinking. There was two people.
Totally shots.
Yeah, so Elizabeth Hurley said that last night on the after show.
Must have been when the stream kept cutting out on me.
So we don't know if he's dead.
Oh my God, genius. Well, that's one of my predictions, is that he's probably not dead, or Henry's going to show up and know who the heck is Henry?
Right. Wasn't Henry his good friend in the military who died, and she, like, comforted him or something?
I think Henry is dead.
Yeah.
And that's why Lucius was even like, tell Henry, sorry for...
that confused me.
Yeah.
Okay, because Henry is dead. Okay.
Yeah,
oh my God, I was really confused. I thought she slept with Lucius too. I'm like, what? She gets it.
I mean, maybe. You never know.
But the paternity, I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, it's going to be interesting because, like, you know, at least the king is dead. I'm sure they'll still have a way to get his DNA, and they have it. But I have a feeling that it is his kids. The king's kids.
I think they really are.
Yeah.
And it will come out in season 2, and then that will change things with Cyrus, obviously. But, let's talk about Alistair a little bit more. How sad did he look when she was like, the soldier's name was Henry? And he was like, she still wouldn't admit that. I mean, could she though? Could she really admit his real name? And that could have caused so many.
Yeah, especially since he's still alive.
So
and
much
around,
more drama. Yeah.
And
So
I think he was upset over it because he wanted her to say it and he wants them to be together.
Yeah.
And for her to deny that it's him, it's like he doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
He's like the mistress still, and he's like waiting for some and she's like, nah, this isn't it.
oh,
what do you
poor
call him,
side
mister?
piece.
Yes, he is the side piece.
Like, yeah, the male side piece. It's so funny.
So sad.
It's like 1 in a million that actually happens, right? I mean,
I feel like we called him side piece a lot.
I think we did call him well, we're just trying to be correct, not politically correct, but just correct in, modern slang, I guess. But yeah, I think you guys are right that she couldn't come out and say his real name, because then that would have just caused a lot more drama. People would have been trying to figure out who is this guy. Then he couldn't have gone it would have been bad. Paparazzi would be at his house.
Right.
But I get where he was coming from by being upset because he wants them to be together. But yeah, like Elizabeth said, I agree with her. I think that he killed the marksman, and I think he's still alive. I feel like that's
I do too.
a good. There's a good possibility.
If he took Lucius's hint, which I didn't even get, he could have had time to grab a gun from under the chair he was sitting in and kill those two guys.
Yeah.
Because a person like that keeps guns around their house,
and they're not oblivious.
Yes.
They're not
like Jasper.
Yes, exactly. So I think that she's right. I hope so, because that would be really juicy and fun. But so let's talk about Lucius. Oh my gosh, he was so evil. I didn't see it coming.
I mean, it's like he's worse than Cyrus.
Yeah. I mean, he's partners with Cyrus, obviously, because Cyrus was the one who asked him to have Alistair killed. So, or at least that's what they made it seem like.
He's in love with the queen.
I think so,
He's
too.
in love with the queen. Whether it's through work or whether, whatever, but he's in love with her.
Right, because his comment, the queen is a brilliant and...
Radiant.
Radiant and brilliant queen. Yeah, I think you're right.
He said in a past episode something about, I've dedicated my entire life to this monarchy. It's like, he is not losing that job.
Right. He said to the king, abolition is such a cowardly choice. He would have been out of a job,
And he was trying to unplug the king at that moment, except Price walked in.
And he read the letter.
Yes.
Which was sealed, which I thought was very, huge detail. He wanted to know what... I mean, she obviously sealed it with wax on purpose. It wasn't here, Lucius, give this letter. It was, sealed with the royal seal, and he opened it.
Right, and another thing that I think Elizabeth said in the after show was that she's like, you don't know if that was what letter was actually in there. Maybe, Lucius might have changed the letter anyways. So even if he would have read it, it would have been not the real letter that she wrote.
True.
So... yeah, I didn't really see it coming. I guess if we look back and hear his comments about that, it kind of makes sense. But I'm like, wow, he really turned a corner in this episode and became a very prominent figure. And I mean, he tried to kill the king, so that was I was like, oh my gosh. But then I guess, I don't know. It was crazy. He obviously, I think he might have something to do with Domino. I think he might be involved with Domino.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, or at least maybe leaking to Domino what's going on inside the palace. I don't know. So Cyrus had a lot of stuff go on, like he always does. He got the crap beat out of him by Liam, which was probably the highlight of it. I think a lot of people on Twitter were saying, they were like, that scene was great. And William Moseley was saying in the after show that he just was punching a pad on the floor. Yeah. So he's like, I didn't realize how brutal it would look in person. When I watched it, it was really brutal. That's so funny. It was a great scene. And I thought it was kind of funny how when Liam first punched him, Cyrus didn't even attempt to fight back. He just said, looked at the blood and he's like, you can't do that. I thought that was so weird. Why wouldn't you at least try to fight back
no
or
one's
something?
ever punched him because he's been a royal child his whole life, and he's definitely a not get your fingernails dirty type of guy.
So true.
So I bet he's never been punched, and he was in complete shock.
Yeah. He's probably this is what it's like to get punched.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he was just like petrified for a moment when, you know, Liam was telling him, you killed my brother, you tried to kill my dad, admit it. He's like, I couldn't, it's my brother. Like, he just looked so like...
I love that he said he did it, though, every day. Like, he imagined it every... Like, that kind of admission to, like, Liam. Like, I did every day, but I couldn't do it. Which that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Well, I was confused about when he jumped up behind Liam with the fire poker and he was like, you're so stupid. I didn't know if he meant, like...
Right.
You're so stupid, I want you out of my way, I didn't want you to be king either, or you're so stupid to think that I was telling you the truth just now.
Or you're so stupid, I have nothing better to say.
You're so stupid, I'm going to hit you with this fire button. Like,
it could have gone, you're right, either.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either.
I just felt like it was like a lousy comeback, like, you're mean. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I just kind of thought he meant, you're so stupid to have disbelieved me just now.
You're right, I could have.
I thought he meant like you're so stupid to hit the man who's about to be king. I don't know.
See? There's so many different interpretations, obviously, yes. And then, you know, Marcus comes in and says, take your hands off the Great Britain's king. And what did you guys think about the way that basically that was him telling Liam, your dad's dead. How did you feel about the way he delivered that news? I mean, do you think it was good, bad? He could have done it a different way?
I think it was point across.
Yeah.
I think it was very, like, you know, like, obviously Cyrus is in the room, Liam's in the room. He got rid of everything. He didn't need to tell Cyrus, guess what, Cyrus, you're king, and Liam, your dad's dead. So I think it was just like a one and done.
It was very efficient way of telling both of them.
Maybe not the most polite or, like, sensitive. But...
And it felt very dutiful. Like, he just was like, take your hands off the king. And I'm sure it's in his job to have aided the king, and he just walked out on him. So,
yeah.
He was very, like, allegiance to Liam.
Right.
To me.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, I agree with you guys. But I do feel like they have so much history, and they're, like, best friends. I feel like he could have, you know, been like, Liam, stop. And then he could have pulled him up and been like, your dad, like, come on, like, you need to go see, you know, like, I don't know, I felt like he could have done it a different way, but I agree, like, he was doing his job, so that was probably the most efficient way to do it.
Do you think Liam would have killed Cyrus if Marcus hadn't come? Like, he was going
like he
in.
Was, yeah.
And I literally, for 2 seconds, I was like, he's gonna kill Cyrus. I really thought that. And so I wonder if that would have happened if Marcus hadn't stopped it.
It seems like that. He was hitting him so much. I mean, he wasn't going to stop.
Was, like,
at least
primal,
Especially, I think it was because Cyrus tried to attack him that he, like, got even, like, more angry and just, went off on him. So I don't know. Maybe that would have been crazy, too.
Yeah. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, then I guess, I don't know. I guess it would have just been Queen. Because she passed that little edict or whatever to make her the next in the line of succession, right? Once
Did it pass?
Did it pass?
I don't know.
It actually passed.
So maybe that'll be next season.
Yeah.
Cyrus and the Queen are fighting for the throne.
Well, maybe not, because we know Prudence is back and she's pregnant with Cyrus's baby.
Oh my
gosh, I couldn't believe that. So now I totally think that she killed the king. Because now she's going to become the queen.
I feel like there have been illegitimate kids from kings for years and years, and they don't get anything except, like, land and money, but they don't get,
they're not married.
Like, right, they don't get, like, the, you know, they're not in the chain, so.
That's true, I guess. Maybe she'll try to get something from
but
him.
maybe
I don't know
she
if she'll
could
try
have killed
to marry
him to think,
but...
like, I'll get more if he's king. I'll get more money, I'll get more hush money, I'll get more of something.
Well, I guess no matter what, wouldn't her son become the next king? Because
no, I think not, because it's illegitimate. She'll just get money to shut up and taking care of.
She's shady now. Now I'm like, she's a shady character. And I don't think they ever had sex.
I think they did.
I mean, I think
See,
they
I don't
did.
think
Yeah.
they did. I think they did other stuff, but I don't know. That's just me being like, she's shady, trying to, like, catch someone in something, but I don't know.
Like, maybe she was involved in Domino all along.
Yeah.
True.
And she just was playing buddy-buddy with the king. She felt bad about it, but she was all in.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
don't know.
prediction that Prudence is part of Domino.
I just feel like she was a super shady character on the outskirts the whole time, and I'm like, what is her deal?
Right,
What is her
yeah.
purpose?
Right, now we know, because I always thought that too. I'm like, well, okay, she's still around, like, I don't get it. Like, yeah, okay, Cyrus was manipulating her, but okay, now what? You know, and they showed her when the king was giving his speech in her room, like, watching. So now I'm like, gosh, I can't wait till next season, because I wonder if they'll fast forward and, like, the baby will already be born or something. Because she looked pretty pregnant.
Yeah, I was kind of confused on that. I'm like, okay, when people show, how long ago was this?
Right.
I was like doing the math in my head.
She knew that it was a boy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many months in you have to be for that, but
I think it's like 3, but she was showing at least like I felt like 5 or 6. But she's so small, so used to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, that was a good, like, cliffhanger ending kind of.
She looked happy.
Yeah.
so happy.
Well, yeah, she's like, don't worry, baby boy. No, your dad just became king.
Like, I feel like she planned the whole thing somehow. Like, with him and everything. Like, she was happy about it.
Yeah.
So what was the gun from the first episode?
Well,
Remember the gun?
that's
Is she Domino?
Maybe she was passing the gun to Jasper because they're in it together. Who knows?
I don't know. I feel like Jasper's, like,
On his own.
ulterior motives are, like, so minuscule. That's what my thoughts are. I don't know. Let's get into predictions, because we have so many predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so as I was saying, I feel like I don't think Jasper is involved in Domino, but I do think he has ulterior motives, but I think that they are very minuscule compared to this whole Domino thing. I think whatever his original plan was is probably going to be like
Something selfish.
yeah, or something very minor and just on a lower scale of, I don't know, trickery than this Domino stuff. And I do agree. I think that Prudence is part of Domino now that we kind of like, you know, I feel like that's the way that a lot of times it goes. They make the characters look like really good and innocent, and then it's like, surprise, she was really bad the whole time. So I think that could be a good possibility. But what do you guys think? What are your main predictions for next season?
I think the prince and princess are going to be in full, like, crime fighter mode. Like, Liam's going to be trying to avenge his father's death, which I'm excited about. I was excited to see that, like, flip in his eyes, because I felt like he never fully committed to the, like, wanting to be ready to be a good king. Like, it just wasn't his thing. But as soon as he grabbed Eleanor and was like, I'm here now, I was like, he's in it. He's all in. Yeah. So I feel like we're going to see him trying to avenge the king's death. Eleanor and Jasper kind of teamed up in, like, a crime-fighting role situation. I don't really know. I feel like I see them teamed up with, like, the boots and the guns. I liked that.
Yeah.
And, God, this Domino thing just constantly unraveling. Like, I think all of season 2 is, like, who is Domino? What is Domino? What's the next thing that's going to happen? Like, I think we'll see big things happen and, like, another Domino tip in that insignia or whatever it is. So...
Wait, and tell us, we all missed the part that William Moseley said.
Spoiler.
On the
Okay,
after show.
So during the live after show, William Moseley said, they said if you wanted anyone in a fight with you to be like your backup guy, who would you pick? And he said, I'd pick Marcus. And then he said, unfortunately, he's not going to be with us next season. So, like, whether or not you think Marcus is a big character, he's giving away the fact that, like, Marcus is not going to be part of the show next year. So,
what?
I mean, it could be that they're not even in the palace at all if Marcus is not going to be part of the show.
Or maybe...
Or is Marcus Rogue? Is Marcus Domino?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it, you know?
He goes to New York to get Ophelia.
Maybe.
Apparently, William Moseley got very embarrassed, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm allowed to say that, right? Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that." And he, like, his face got red, and he looked down and he giggled. He was very nervous. So Mark Schwann was not happy about him saying that. I want to think that Mark Schwann was like, damn it, William Moseley, but, you know,
because they're coming back in November, so they might have already shot things, and he was getting confused. So maybe they've already shot the beginning of season 2, and Marcus gets killed.
Maybe.
Which is sad, because I love him. I love that character.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I never saw that coming.
It kept going in and out.
I know, the stream kept cutting out, so I don't know what else I missed, but
No.
I think it's going to be Cyrus versus the Queen, and it's going to be, you know, evil versus evil, and who's, you know, we're going to be rooting for the lesser of two evils. And And I can never predict anything. I always have 50 million questions.
I know.
So, and I don't even know if Prudence is evil, because the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, she's happy that she's carrying Cyrus's baby. And then the second time we watched it, I was like, I don't know, she was smiling. It didn't seem so happy. I don't know. I'm so confused, and I have no predictions except that it's going to be great. Yes. I can't wait.
Yeah, Prudence is shady. Jasper has ulterior motives, and I feel like Liam's going to actually be king. But the whole time he's avenging his father's death and trying to get rid of Cyrus. So it's going to be a lot of conflict between them. But I do feel like they're actually the legitimate kids, and that he is actually going to. But I think it's going to come out because Cyrus is going to die. Like, Liam's going to kill him or have him killed, or Dom. I don't know. There's so much, but I do feel like Liam isn't going to end up being king.
I hope so.
I guess we will find out next season in November, not too far away. Thank you so much for watching all of our after shows this season. We truly enjoyed The Royals. Can't wait for the next season. Girls, tell them where they can find you.
Guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Megan Stecher. It's MEGANSTECHER.
This is Fern Ronay. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fern Ronay.
And you guys can find me on Insta at TRACIPRO or on Twitter at TRACIABTV.
And you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Tina Cap. Leave all your comments, your predictions. We want to know. Tweet us, everything. And we'll see you in November. Thanks for watching. Yes. Cheers.
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 So fun.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.